Incredible reunion. Soldier discovers daughter's hidden fear. Heartwarming dog response revealed. Jake Thompson stood in his quaint Midwestern town and stared at the house that felt both familiar and foreign after years away. The sun was shining down on Maple Grove as he cradled his 6-year-old daughter, Mia, in his arms. With her curls bouncing, her infectious laughter filled the air, and his heart swelled with joy. This was the homecoming he had always dreamed of until it all crashed down like a poorly built sandcastle. He quickly learned of Mia's hidden fear. One moment of indiscriminate barking during a playdate had left her trembling and terrified. Perhaps it was Buddy, their golden retriever, who had unwittingly become the embodiment of all of Mia's anxiety. The family dog, once a comic relief, had transitioned into something sinister, lurking in the corners, an unwanted shadow of dread. Jake winced at the thought of how the joyful bond he envisioned with his daughter was now overshadowed by her fear. Day after day, he tried to reassure her, "Mia, Buddy's just a big, goofy dog." But every tail wag felt like a whirlwind of panic for her. The cozy warmth of home filled with family pictures felt heavy, each frame told a story of love that his little girl couldn't embrace. A pit formed in Jake's stomach as he watched her retreat further into her bubble of fear. Neighbors began to notice, gathering around them, eager to rally in support of Jake and Mia. It was an extraordinary display of small-town solidarity. Puppy parties, dog training workshops, these became the town's mission, all aimed at helping little Mia conquer her fears. "You've done so much for all of us," they say, "we want to help." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Each event brought promising moments, a smile or a curious glance at Buddy. But they also fanned the flames of Mia's anxiety. On one fateful day, a mix-up at a puppy love day led to chaos when a frenzied dog darted toward Mia. She was thrown back into the grip of fear, the innocent laughter echoed, replaced by screams ringing out. Jake could only watch in helpless agony as Mia's wide eyes told stories of terrors he wished he could ward off. As her little body shook, it felt like a chasm was opening between them. Could he ever bridge that gap? These thoughts rattled through Jake's mind like thunder as Buddy lay down beside him, sensing the turmoil encircling them. One emotional afternoon, just when despair seemed to take root, Buddy stepped forward, his golden fur glinting in the sunlight. Seeing his gentle spirit pierce through Mia's wall of fear was nothing short of miraculous. Jake held his breath as he witnessed an unexplainable bond begin to form. Would Mia finally take that step toward Buddy, away from fear and towards connection? Anxiety crackled in the air, the room holding its breath in anticipation. Could this be the moment of healing they had been waiting for? As Mia cautiously eyed Buddy, Jake could see the flicker of uncertainty in her big, blue eyes. One moment the dog looked like a puppy, playful and warm, but the next moment, the shadows of fear clouded her small face. Jake held his breath, knowing that this was more than just a dog standing before her. It was a new chance, a lifeline thrown amidst a storm of emotions. Buddy, sensing the tension, took a step back, his tail still wagging but slowed down, turning it from a happy wag into a gentle sway. "It's okay, sweetheart," Jake whispered, kneeling beside Mia. He wanted to bridge the gap, to show her that the world was safe again. "Remember how we practiced with the treats? Buddy loves treats." Mia blinked, her uncertainty wavering just for a moment. The memory of her bright smile, her tiny hands tossing treats into Buddy's eager mouth slowly surfaced. She thought of how he would catch them in the air, his silly antics making her giggle. Jake smiled, knowing how strong memories could be. "Look, I bet he would do his trick for a treat right now," Jake encouraged, pulling a small piece out of his pocket. He held it up, offering it as an olive branch. Buddy's eyes lit up, his eagerness shining bright. But Mia didn't move. Jake could feel the weight of her fear, wrapping around her like a thick fog. "You can do it, Mia, just take one step," he urged gently. "I'll be right here." With a shaky breath, Mia slowly reached out a small hand, shaking slightly as she held the treat. Buddy stayed still, focused on her, his playful nature present and yet calm, showing her just how loving he could be. Just then, a soft, luring bark escaped from Buddy. It wasn't aggressive, it was a beckoning call of an excited friend. The tension in the room crackled with a mix of emotions, both fear and hope floated in the air like fireflies. Jake watched as Mia took a tentative step forward, her heart racing, palms sweating. For the first time, he sensed a possibility in her hesitation, like a flickering candle trying to light up the dark. Suddenly, she tossed the treat, her eyes closing tight while she sought refuge in her father's comforting presence. Jake's heart raced watching it glide through the air, his gaze glued on Buddy, who leaped joyously to catch it. The room erupted with laughter as the golden retriever pranced in delight, the treat gone in a split second. Mia opened her eyes. A tiny giggle escaped her lips as Buddy did a little happy dance, prancing around the living room. It was unexpected. A spark was born, glowing like a beacon amidst the shadows. "Mia, did you see that?" Jake exclaimed, a grin stretching across his face. "He's so silly. He just wants to play with you." The corners of Mia's mouth turned up slightly. She felt a flicker of warmth, like sunshine cutting through a cold morning fog. Could it be? Was it possible for fear to turn into something small and manageable, like a friendship waiting to bloom? Uncertainty still danced in her heart, but within her lay the tiniest hope, whispering that she might, just might, be able to trust Buddy again. As Jake watched the two of them, he could feel the walls crumbling between them. But would it be enough? Could a single moment truly redefine their connection? In that moment of hope, Jake knew they were teetering on the edge of something significant. He wondered what would happen next, how one small victory could unravel alongside the hidden challenges that remained. Would Mia continue to step toward Buddy's warm embrace, or would fear pull her back again? He locked eyes with Mia, ready to support her no matter what came next, his heart full of promise but heavy with questions. And as Buddy looked up, tilting his head in confusion, the real battle for courage was about to begin. Mia took a breath, the air holding a taste of courage mixed with trepidation. Jake watched her, the weight of their shared moment resting like a fragile glass sculpture, delicate and precarious. Buddy was still prancing around, his golden fur shining like a sunbeam in the room. That little dance stirred something deep within Mia, a soft echo of laughter that had long been dormant. "Do you want to give him another treat?" Jake asked, his voice gentle, encouraging. The question hung in the air, but it seemed to ignite something within Mia. Her fingers twitched, and Jake could see her heart wrestling with her mind. There was still that shiver of fear rippling through her, but the tiny smile remaining on her face was a sign a crack in the wall that fear had built around her heart. Mia shifted closer to Buddy, her little hands still trembling. Jake could see the fight going on inside her. With a shaky exhale, she reached into her pocket. She pulled out another treat, yet her hand paused, fingers hovering above the golden retriever. "Remember, he's just like you, a little scared sometimes but trying so hard," Jake said, his eyes soft with reassurance. "He just wants to be friends." Mia's eyes flickered to Buddy, his tail wagging gently now as if sensing her turmoil. The dog's gaze was filled with his usual warmth, the kind that said he was ready to share love and laughter with this little girl who needed it most. Finally, she tossed the treat again, and the sweet, joyous moment stretched into slow motion. Jake watched, heart in throat, as Buddy bounded forward, snatching the treat from the air with a graceful leap. Laughter erupted again from Mia, brighter than before. It was genuine, a melodic sound leaning into the warmth of the room and chasing away shadows. "See? He's a good boy. Jake cheered, a swell of joy lifting his spirits. Mia giggled again, and Jake saw her confidence bloom, petal by petal. Encouraged, she took another step closer. "Can I pet him?" she whispered, her voice barely above a sigh. "Of course you can. Just be gentle, okay?" Mia nodded, determination replacing hesitation. Her small hand reached out, and as Buddy slowly approached, she let her fingertips graze his soft fur. That electric connection hummed in the air once more, rekindling the trust layer by layer. Buddy leaned into her touch, his wisdom offering a silent promise. Mia's eyes sparkled as she ran her fingers down Buddy's back, the warmth radiating from him anchoring her feet to the ground. Then, something shifted. A deeper understanding flared within Mia, an emotional sigh passing through her like a prayer. It wasn't just Buddy she was reaching for, it was the chance to redefine her world, to reclaim her courage. Jake felt tears prick at his eyes, a mixture of pride and relief washing over him. "See? You're doing it," he said. "You're going to be best friends." But then Mia stilled, a sudden shadow flitting across her face. An unseen reminder pulsed through the silence, creeping back into the room. Jake froze, he sensed that fear was still lurking in the corners of her mind. What if the past tried to grab hold again? Jake started, but she quickly turned away, eyes wide and frightened. "Mia?" Buddy noticed it too. His bright energy dulled as he sensed her retreat. He tilted his head, a soft whine escaping him, as if to say, "I'm still here." "Mia, it's okay," Jake said, stepping closer, ready to comfort her. He could see the walls rising again, and his heart raced. "Remember the fun you just had?" But Mia was silent, lost in a turmoil that Jake couldn't fully understand. What unseen fear had just shadowed the light they had found together? Just then, Buddy took a tentative step forward, placing his massive paw gently on Mia's tiny foot, grounding her, as if he understood what they were facing together. Would this push Mia closer to trust, or would it send her spiraling back into the depths of her fear? Jake held his breath, his heart racing. He was determined to help Mia face whatever had just emerged from the shadows, but as he looked into her eyes, he wondered. Could any bond withstand the weight of unspoken fears? Mia stood frozen, her gaze locked on the floor. The shadows of her past crept around her like a thick fog, pushing her toward the familiar safety of retreat. Jake could see her heart battling against the clasp of fear, her spirit pulling at the leash of hope. Buddy's paw pressed against her foot, steadying her just enough to remind her that she had company. "Hey, look at me, Mia," Jake said softly, kneeling down to her level. His voice was gentle, a lifeline in this moment of uncertainty. "You're not alone. We can face whatever it is together." Mia's eyes flickered up to meet his, uncertainty swimming in their depths. Jake felt a pang in his chest, wishing he could peel back the layers of her fear and show her the bright world that awaited. Sometimes I feel like I can't do things," she finally whispered, her small voice trembling like a leaf caught in a breeze. "Like I'm going to mess up or that people won't like me." Buddy glanced back at Mia, his ears perked and a soft, understanding look in his eyes. Jake could see the connection reigniting, the thread of trust weaving through the room like sunlight breaking through the clouds. "You know what? That's okay. Everybody feels that way sometimes. Look at Buddy, he was scared before he met you too." Mia bit her lip, her fingers brushing against Buddy's soft fur. "But what if he doesn't like me? What if I do it wrong?" Jake smiled, a warm glow filling the space around them. "Buddy only knows how to love, Mia. Look at him, he's already your friend. The only right way is being yourself. It's enough." Slowly, Mia nodded. The shadows still lingered, but a flicker of light began to break through. Jake gently placed a hand on Buddy's back. "Let us show her how much fun he can be. Want to try playing a game?" Mia hesitated but then gave a tiny nod. Jake stood, reaching for Buddy's favorite toy, a worn-out squeaky ball. He rolled it across the floor, and Buddy instantly chased after it, bounding with joy. Look! He loves to play. Mia's eyes widened, a glimmer of excitement peeking through. As Buddy returned, ball in mouth, dropping it at her feet, Jake encouraged with a grin, "Go on. You do it this time." With shaky hands, Mia picked up the ball, the fear still there but pushing against something stronger, a desire to connect. Throwing the ball across the room, she watched as Buddy dashed after it, gleeful and unafraid. This time, laughter burst forth again, filling the room like music. "See? You're amazing. Look at him go." Jake cheered, his heart swelling as he watched Mia's confidence begin to shine again. And just as quickly, the laughter faded. That familiar shadow crossed her face once more, the question weaved in her silence. She backed away, eyes darting to the corners of the room as if she might see whatever haunted her. Jake felt the shift in the atmosphere, the lightness going dim. "What's wrong, Mia?" he asked, his smile replaced by concern. "I don't want him to leave me," she whispered, almost too softly to hear. "What happens if I mess up, Jake?" "No one is going anywhere," he assured her, kneeling down again. "Buddy is here because he believes in you. Like I do. Nobody is perfect, and you know what? Messing up is part of learning." But Mia hung her head again, the fragile walls around her heart beginning to close. Jake could feel the urgency rising within him. He needed her to see the truth, to break through those fears that kept circling like vultures. "Sometime soon, we'll have to take another leap, won't we?" Jake said, trying to place a seed of hope. "You have me, and Buddy. And together, we can find your strength." Mia looked up at him, the first flickers of understanding dawning. She took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of their bond wrap around her like a blanket against the chill of her worries. But right then, Buddy plopped down, his big brown eyes watching her intently, as if to say, "Take your time. I'm right here." The tension between them rippled, and in that moment, Jake realized that fear was just one part of Mia's journey, not the end. Would she be able to embrace the friendship and courage awaiting her? As Mia glanced around the room, the question hung heavy in the air: could this small golden retriever help her uncover a bravery she never knew she had? Jake watched Mia take a deep breath, her hesitant smile wavering as she assessed the room. He admired her vulnerability, the way she was grappling with the uncharted territory of connection. He knew this moment was pivotal. And Buddy, oblivious to the weight of the emotions swirling around him, rolled onto his back, tail wagging wildly, inviting Mia to join in on the fun. "See? Buddy just wants to play with you," Jake encouraged, hoping to help Mia shake off her lingering worries. "Let us go outside for a little bit. Fresh air, right?" Mia's brow furrowed, and Jake sensed her instinct to retreat creeping back in. "It feels too much," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's okay to feel that way," Jake reassured her, his heart aching for her struggle. "But sometimes, stepping outside our comfort zone can lead to something amazing. Just a few steps, that's all it takes." She hesitated. Jake could see the wheels turning in her mind, a battlefield of fear versus hope. Buddy nudged her hand, bringing her focus back to him, as if the dog was saying, "Trust me." Mia chuckled softly, glancing down at the playful retriever. "You really are a goofy guy, Buddy. See?" Jake smiled, feeling the tension start to ease. Even he believes in this moment. After a few more moments of contemplation, Mia nodded slowly. "Okay, let us try." They stepped out onto the porch, the sunlight spilling over them like a warm hug. Jake could feel the atmosphere shift as Mia took a tentative step forward. Buddy bounded ahead, his joy radiating like sunshine. "Look at him." Mia laughed, the sound mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. "He's like a little explosion of happiness." That's the Buddy effect. Jake grinned. He has a way of making things better, you know? As they ventured further into the yard, Mia hesitated for a moment, her gaze sweeping over the open space. What if I fall? She murmured, her voice tinged with caution. What if you fly? Jake countered, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Taking a deep breath, Mia took a few more steps, her confidence growing with each soft pad of her feet against the grass. Buddy raced back to her, jumping in circles as if encouraging her onward. He's really excited, isn't he? She said, her apprehension slowly dissipating. Just a little. Jake replied, sensing the shift in her body language, tension melting away, shoulders relaxing. Mia reached down to scratch Buddy behind his ears. Okay. You win, Buddy. She exclaimed, laughter bubbling up once more as she wrestled with the dog. Jake felt his heart lift, this was progress. Suddenly, Mia stood up straight as a thought crossed her mind, her smile fading for a moment. You didn't tell me how you met Buddy. Jake's heart sank at the change in mood. He should have known the conversation could turn. Oh, it's quite a story, he said, intentionally keeping his tone light. I found him at the shelter. He was scared and alone, just like someone I know. Mia looked at him and the unspoken understanding hung between them. You felt alone too? I did, he admitted softly. But I learned that the way up is not to hide but to reach out. A long silence followed, the winds whispering secrets through the trees. What if we end up lost in that space? Mia voiced, vulnerability creeping back into her words. At that moment, Buddy turned, as if he understood everything, trotting up to Mia and resting his head against her thigh. Jake's heart raced, he loved that the dog could sense her emotions. When their eyes met, Jake sensed a decision flickering within Mia. You have to trust that I am right here, just like Buddy, he said, holding her gaze. She nodded, uncovering a touch of resolve in her eyes. I want to try. Can you help me? Always, Jake replied, pride blooming in his chest. As they moved to the center of the yard, Mia called to Buddy, who eagerly bounded back to her, tail wagging furiously. For the first time, Jake felt a shift, a real sense of hope blossoming amidst the shadows. Seeing the fearless bond between Mia and Buddy reigniting warmed him. Was she stepping into the light? But just then, a loud noise echoed from beyond the fence, a sharp bark that jolted Buddy and sent Mia instinctively backing away. Jake's heart dropped. Had all this progress been for nothing? Mia? He called softly, his own anxiety creeping back in. Would this moment define her, or could she push past it once more? Mia froze, her wide eyes darting toward the fence. The sharp bark echoed again, relentless like a hammer to her confidence. Jake could see the panic rising in her. It clenched at his heart, a tug-of-war between wanting to protect her and wanting her to break free from her fears. Mia, look at Buddy, he said, keeping his voice steady. He's not scared. He believes in you. And there was Buddy, crouched low to the ground, tail still wagging, that goofy openness shining through. It was like he understood the moment, he exuded an infectious joy that couldn't be dulled. Still, Mia took a step back, her breath coming quicker. I can't, she whispered, her earlier resolve wavering like a candle's flame facing the wind. Yes, you can, Jake urged gently, taking a step closer to her. Just focus on me and Buddy. We're right here. He waved his hand to draw her attention back. Together. Mia looked down at Buddy, who seemed to be smiling, and then back at Jake. He could see her weighing her choices again, the fear was palpable but there within it flickered a glimmer of determination. What if that bark means danger? She asked, vulnerability creeping back into her voice. Or what if it leads to friendship? Jake replied, feeling a spark of inspiration. Maybe it's someone who wants to meet Buddy. Dogs have a way of bringing people together. At his words, Mia took a deep breath. What if I fail? The words spilled out, heavy with the weight of all that she had faced. What if you rise? Jake countered, his own heart racing to encourage her. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the world fell silent around them. The sunlight bounced off their faces, illuminating the uncertainty but also hinting at something hopeful. Something more. Finally, with a hesitant smile, Mia nodded, the resolve returning to her stance. Okay, I will try for Buddy. Just one step at a time, Jake reminded her, instinctively reaching out his hand. With a soft whimper of encouragement, Buddy leapt forward, zigzagging his way toward the fence and wagging his tail fiercely. The sight pulled a laugh from Mia, breaking through the ice of her fear. Together, they took a step forward, Jake warmly squeezing her hand for support. You've got this, he whispered as they approached the fence. As they neared, they saw a fluffy golden retriever poking its head through the slats. The barking softened into playful yips, and suddenly it became a dance of enthusiasm. The new dog bounded around, ecstatic to meet Buddy under the golden sunlight. The tension lifted from Mia's shoulders as her laughter mingled with the joyous barks of their new furry friend. Look at them! She exclaimed, wide-eyed and grinning. They're like old friends. In that moment, Jake watched her transformation suddenly, the walls around her heart were crumbling. Mia stepped closer, hand still in his, as she called out, "Come here, Buddy." Feeling his heart swell, Jake couldn't help but smile. Beneath the branches of waving trees, in the warm embrace of this friendship, they stood with the two dogs, forging a connection deeper than either of them could have imagined. And just as that bliss filled the air, a shadow crossed Mia's face. But what if this feeling doesn't last? Jake's heart skipped at her sudden drift into worry, a familiar anxiety resurfacing. Her question lingered in the air like a fragile balloon, threatening to pop. Would the moment they shared slip away just as easily? Jake searched her eyes, sensing the depth of her fears, and he realized that their journey was far from over. It doesn't have to, he replied firmly, warmth radiating from his words. We can make it last, if we keep moving forward together. Mia looked at him, searching for clarity in his gaze. Would she trust him to guide her through the uncertainty? Would she allow her fear to fade, making room for the possibilities ahead? As the golden dog bounded between them, Jake knew this was only the beginning. Would Mia step deeper into this bright new world, or would the shadows once again threaten to pull her back? All he could do was hope she would choose to rise. Mia stood there, heart racing, her laughter still hanging in the air like open doors to a new world. She felt alive, yet a thread of doubt tugged at her heart, reminding her of the walls she had built over years of anxiety. Are you okay? Jake asked, breaking the silence that seemed to wrap around them. His voice was gentle, woven with concern. Yeah, what if I can't keep this feeling? Her joy was like sand slipping through her fingers, and she longed to clutch it tight. Mia, feeling good now doesn't mean it'll always be easy, but it's about taking those small moments and letting them guide you, Jake encouraged, his thumb brushing against her hand. We'll figure it out together. You don't have to do this alone. That warmth from his words wrapped around her like a blanket against the chill of uncertainty. Buddy circled their feet, happily oblivious to the weight of her doubts, barking up at them, like a cheerleader for their burgeoning strength. With each wag of Buddy's tail, something within Mia started to soften, the distant clutches of fear giving way to a flicker of understanding. Okay, she whispered, casting a glance back to the golden retriever that had drawn her out, I think I'm ready to try, again. Jake's smile widened as he freed her hand, nodding towards the open gate. Let us go meet our new friend. As they stepped closer to the fence, Mia hesitated for a split second. Would this joyful moment dissolve back into fear? But Buddy pressed against the slats, his trusting spirit lighting a fire in Mia's chest. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the frame of light created by the setting sun, transforming the ordinary fence into a magical threshold to a brighter day. Jake lifted his hand to greet the golden dog, who was eagerly bouncing along the grass. "Come here, buddy. She's all yours." The retriever bounded forward, tail like a flag in the breeze, while the world around them seemed to pause. With excitement swelling in her chest, Mia knelt down, arms outstretched. "Hello, sweet boy." In that moment, both dogs collided in a flurry of fur and bliss, their joyous play a whirlwind of mischief and happiness. Laughter erupted from Mia like a bubble finally breaking free, and she couldn't hide her delight. "Can you believe how happy they are?" Jake chuckled, kneeling down beside her. "They're amazing," Mia replied, eyes sparkling. "It's like they understand exactly what we need." "Maybe this is what life is about," he said, his voice calm yet vibrant, finding those moments of connection, especially when they seem most out of reach. A new thought flickered to life in Mia's mind, a vision of her fears being overcome by the simple magic of community, of shared joy. Could she allow herself to feel this connection with people as well? As they sat in the grass, the sun dipped below the horizon, creating a canvas of oranges and purples, illuminating their new connection. Jake turned to Mia. "You know, if you ever feel scared again, you can always come back to this moment. It's yours to keep." Her heart swelled with warmth, the shadows of her earlier desperation beginning to shrink. "Maybe we can keep coming back here," she said, a hint of playfulness seeping through. "And keep bringing our dog buddies back too." "Absolutely." Jake laughed, their laughter intertwining as they stood up. But just then, a small bark echoed again from behind the fence, stronger this time, as if announcing the arrival of something bigger. Mia's heart quickened again, a mix of curiosity and apprehension rising like a wave. What if there's another dog? She thought aloud, glancing nervously at Jake. Jake met her gaze, a knowing look in his eye. "Well, the adventure continues, right?" Just then, another head popped through the fence, the unmistakable floppy ears of a beagle, its bark echoing like a summons into the unknown. Mia's heart raced, not from fear, but from a surge of excitement. "Can we see it?" she asked, feeling the thirst for connection overriding her trepidation. Jake nodded confidently. "Let us go meet another friend." Together. As they walked closer to the fence, a new wave of anticipation washed over Mia. What awaited them on the other side? Would this be the start of something even bigger? Mia felt a flutter in her stomach as they approached the fence. The beagle's gentle eyes met hers, and for a moment, she was lost in the warmth radiating from its eager expression. It was as if the little dog, with its big floppy ears and wagging tail, could sense her pulse quickening and was there to soothe her. "Do you want to pet it?" Jake asked softly, encouraging her as he leaned in to get a closer look. Mia nodded, drawing a breath to steady her nerves. "Okay, let us do this." With tentative steps, she moved forward, reaching out a hand toward the beagle, who eagerly wiggled closer, sniffing the air and painting the scene with its excitement. "Hello, little guy," she murmured, feeling the familiar spark of joy at the tips of her fingers as they brushed against the soft fur. The beagle leaned into her touch, eyes sparkling with mischief. "His name is Max," Jake said, gently scratching behind the beagle's ears, making it wiggle even more in delight. "He's known to be quite the character around here." Max continued to jump around, his playful energy almost infectious. Mia felt her worries ebb away, replaced by laughter and the simple pleasure of being in this moment. Jake's presence beside her grounded her, wrapping her in a sense of safety that allowed her to breathe deeper. "Maybe we should bring him home?" Mia said, a bit of urgency creeping into her voice. "He looks like he needs some love." Jake chuckled again, his eyes twinkling. "What do you think? Should we become a multi-dog family?" "Absolutely. Imagine the chaos," Mia said, the idea lighting her up from within. She envisioned the two dogs racing through the house, tails wagging, and the playful barks filling every corner with laughter. Suddenly, something shifted in Mia, perhaps an awakening of bravery she hadn't known was there. "Can I hold him?" Of course. Here, Jake said, gently lifting Max off the ground and into Mia's waiting arms. Mia was surprised by how light he felt and how his warmth radiated into her chest like a tiny sun. She cradled Max, feeling his trust flow into her. Her heart soared, and for the first time in a long time, she dared to think of her walls as something she could break down. "Look at this," Jake said softly, climbing through the gap in the fence. "Now, it's our little adventure with both of them." Mia followed him, excitement bubbling as she stepped into the patch of grass splitting their two worlds. The dogs danced around, and there was something liberating about joining the chaos, as if each wag of their tails was an invitation to join in. But just as they began to laugh and play, Mia's phone buzzed in her pocket, jarring her from the blissful moment. It was an unknown number, but the anxiety from her past crept in, silently wrapping its fingers around her heart again. "Hey," she said to Jake, uncertainty breaking through her excitement. "I have to take this." Jake nodded, concern flashing across his face. "You sure it's okay? We can keep having fun." Mia hesitated, glancing at Max who was now wiggling joyfully against her. I don't know who it is. Just remember, moments like this don't disappear. You're stronger than you think." His words gave her courage, but she felt a dozen doubts spark in her mind. Taking a breath, she swiped to answer. "Hello? Mia? It's Dad." The voice on the line was familiar yet distant, tangled with a mixture of love and confusion. Mia's stomach dropped, the warmth from her earlier joy starting to feel distant. Her heart began to race again, battered by the contradictions of hope and worry now coiling together in her chest. What would he say? Did they have unfinished conversations to resolve? "Dad," she whispered, feeling the weight of the moment. Jake watched her, sensing the shift, worry threading through his brow. "Mia, I need to tell you something." In that instant, the world around her faded. Would this call change everything again? Jake moved closer, the unwavering strength still present in his eyes, amplifying her courage. "Mia, are you still there?" Her father's voice pulled her back, grounding her in the moment. What did he want? What was about to unfold? With uncertainty hanging in the air, she took a deep breath, ready to face what was to come. Would she find connection again or be burdened by more fear? The journey ahead was still a mystery, but in that moment, surrounded by the warmth of the dogs and Jake's steady presence, she knew she was ready to embrace it all. "Mia, are you still there?" Her father's voice snapped her back to reality. "Yeah, I'm here," she breathed, her mind swirling. She looked at Jake, whose expression was lined with worry and support. The laughter of Max and the occasional playful bark felt far away now, drowned out by the storm of emotions brewing inside her. I know it's been a long time," her dad said, his voice shaky. "I think about you every day." Mia's heart sank at his words. The years of silence, the missed birthdays, the unspoken apologies loomed over them like a heavy cloud. I don't know what to say," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he continued, urgency edging his tone. "I just wanted to hear your voice again. I regret not being there and I want to make things right. I want to know you." The weight of his request hung in the air. A part of Mia wanted to breathe out a yes, to be enveloped in the warmth of a father who cared. But the past whispered lies, urging her to resist, to protect itself from potential heartbreak. "Dad, can we talk later?" She stammered, overwhelmed by the rush of memories and emotions. "I'm with someone right now." "Of course," he said. There was a pause, and in that silence, Mia could hear the faint echo of regret mixed with relief. "I'll wait for you to call back. Just please don't shut me out." Mia felt the tears prick at the corners of her eyes, just like they always did when she faced the truth. "I'll try," she promised, even if she didn't fully believe it. With that, she hung up, holding the phone tightly in her grasp. What did he say? Jake asked softly, stepping into her space, his presence a grounding force. He knelt beside her, concern shining in his eyes. Before she could find the words, a joyful bark came from Max, cutting through her spiraling thoughts. The beagle was at her feet, nudging her gently with his nose, sensing the turmoil in her heart. "It was my dad," she finally managed, swallowing hard. "He wants to reconnect." "And how do you feel about that?" Jake asked, leaning closer, giving her a chance to choose her next words carefully. "I don't know," she admitted, looking down at Max. "There's so much history, and I'm scared of what it means if I can face it." Jake nodded, his gaze unwavering. "It's okay to be scared. But it's also okay to take a moment to breathe and think about what you want." Mia watched Max as he playfully gnawed on a stick, tail wagging with carefree joy. In that moment, she felt a flicker of hope. If Max could embrace the present with such exuberance, could she find a way to do the same? "You're right." She took a deep breath, letting the dog's playful spirit seep into her, filling the spaces her fear had occupied. "I need to sort through this, but not alone." In the midst of this inner conflict, Mia could feel a shift within herself. Max had nudged her back toward Joy, urging her to open up. It felt small yet significant. "You've got me here," Jake reassured, his hand now resting on her back in a calming gesture. "We'll take on whatever comes next together." Just as she began to feel a sense of clarity, Mia's phone buzzed again. This time, another unknown number flashed across the screen. Her heart kicked up a notch, uncertainty creeping back. "Not again," she murmured, and Jake's expression mirrored her confusion. "Should you answer?" he asked, the tone light yet cautious. "What if it's more from the past?" she whispered, anxiety flooding her thoughts again. The weight of her father's call was still fresh. Would she ever find peace in this chaos? Mia sighed, clutching the phone tightly in her palm. The choices ahead felt heavy, but perhaps they were also leading her somewhere unexpectedly profound. Taking a deep breath, she looked at Jake. "I guess there's only one way to find out." With the call ringing in her ears, Mia braced herself for whatever revelation was about to unfold. Would it be another chance for connection, or a deeper plunge into uncertainty? The moment hummed with anticipation, as she prepared to step forward once more into the unknown. Mia's hand trembled as she brought the phone to her ear again. She held her breath, feeling like she was teetering on the edge of a cliff, ready to leap or fearfully pull back. The tension around her thickened, each second stretching as she repeated those last words her father had said, "Please don't shut me out." "Hello?" she said, her throat tight with anxiety. "Mia. It's me, Jenna." A warm voice filled her ear, bringing with it a sense of familiarity. Mia's body relaxed a little, her shoulders dropping. Jenna was her best friend from the neighborhood where there had always been laughter, play, and warmth. It was the sound of the love that had kept her grounded. "Hey. I didn't expect. Is everything okay? I couldn't wait to share." Jenna's excitement pulsed through the line. "You would not believe how many people came together to get a spontaneous dog adoption event happening this weekend. They said they'd even have the neighborhood puppies join. It's going to be epic." Mia felt her heart lighten. Buddy, Max, and now the possibility of tiny paws scrambling about, healing in the form of wagging tails. "Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Of course, I couldn't let you miss out. You should totally come. I know Buddy would love it." Her heart fluttered, a new idea, a wave of determination ignited within her. With everything that had been happening, she had one more chance to take a step forward, not just for herself, but for Buddy and Max. "You're right. I think it's time I embrace the happiness I feel around the dogs." She could see Jake's supportive smile, encouraging her to rise above the shadows that pulled at her heart. "I'll be there, Jenna," she declared, newfound excitement brightening her voice. As they chatted about the details, a fresh sense of adventure began to seep into Mia's soul. After hanging up, Mia turned to Jake. "You won't believe it. There's a dog adoption event this weekend, and Jenna invited us." "Sounds incredible. This is your moment, Mia." Jake smiled, genuine joy breaking across his face. "Amichum. I need to face other dogs, embrace the excitement, search for courage," she said fervently. Mia reached for Buddy, grabbing his collar and pulling him into a warm hug. He responded with sloppy kisses, delighting her more than ever. "This is a step toward love. We're ready for this," she added, now absolutely glowing with optimism. Jake joined in, wrapping his arms around both Mia and Buddy. "Always ready, right?" Together, they stood as a family, the weight of old fears tipping toward light. A bond forged in heart, strength and compassion molded in laughter. Back in that previously overbearing patch of grass, Mia knew they were transforming. "It feels good to put this moment behind me," she murmured softly. "I am ready to face my past without it defining me." Beyond that fence, the world awaited, and she would be there, surrounded by love and furry friends. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, something shifted. Mia opened the door to this newfound adventure: puppies, friends, and journeys untold. The shadows in her heart receded, replaced with dreams where she could flourish, knowing she wouldn't face them alone. "Tomorrow's a new day, complete with new beginnings," Jake said with a wink, his belief sparking confidence in Mia. "Amichum. It will always carry friends, both four-legged and two," she grinned. Just before they turned to go back inside, Mia could feel that certainty thawing the last remnants of her old fears. Tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow would be the start of a new chapter, one filled with wagging tails, laughter, and a little more light than she ever thought possible. And with that realization, she looked up, ready to step forward, hand in hand with Jake, Buddy, and a growing community filled with potential. As they walked back toward the house, heart full, Mia took a deep breath to savor every warm feeling, ready for the adventure that awaited. Now is the moment to connect. You need to subscribe now to not miss our uplifting stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know you care. Comment below with your thoughts on Mia's journey and what inspires you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need a dose of courage and transformation. Your support makes a difference, and only true fans understand its importance.